let's go ahead and create a new project. And this one's going to be a pretty basic SwiftUI view that does greetings based on the time of day. So we'll call this greetings, I guess. We'll see how that goes. Go ahead and go next. I'm going to go ahead and try to organize these tutorials more. So I'll go into my YouTube 2025, and from here I'll start putting these in a more organized Git repository. So still link to code down below. Let's go ahead and create the project. And I'm just going to go Control Option Enter, and that might be a shortcut here, probably. Yeah, maximize. So I'll try not to mention these keywords, but let me know if mentioning the keywords I use and all that is good. Command 0 though is next code one. Just going to close things down a little bit so we have lots of room to look at the code. I'll zoom in a touch. Not that we really need it for this super complex view we're going to make, but could be handy. All right, let's go ahead and delete that. And let's go ahead and get rid of the V stack. Just delete, no. Okay, highlight that, delete, and highlight all this, delete. I'll select all with Command A and Control I to kind of get the proper indentation. Now, like I said, this is going to be a really simple view, so we're just going to go enter a few times, and I'm going to create a function. In fact, maybe we should create this as a private function, because it's really only going to be used for our greetings view. It's the content view, but obviously I'm assuming that you're making a custom, greetings view or something, or greetings header view or whatever. I don't know. So anyway, we'll call this function greetings, like so. It's not going to take any arguments, but it will return a string. Thanks for the suggestion. Apple Intelligence, I don't know, whatever their newer AI stuff is. And anyway, it's returning hello world. So let's go ahead and just make sure this works. I'm going to delete this. Darn it. I'm going to select this. Come on. Select. And then use the delete key. And then instead of having a hard-coded string in there, we are going to write a function. Or maybe we'll do a string. No, I was going to say, well, we put names, but you could have like a login and a user, and they could have this name that you pass in and all kinds of stuff. But we're just going to use the function greetings, like so. Now we still have hello world, and it's just getting returned from this string here. Now we want to change this up a little bit so that we're not getting a hard-coded value string. We want it to change based on the day. So to do that, I'm going to create a constant here that we're going to call hour, and I'm going to assign it the calendar, which is the definition of the relations between calendar units and absolute points in time. So handy, current component dot hour. I think that's actually correct. So this, I do use this sometimes, this newer, I think it's like 2 GB model suggestive AI stuff in Xcode 16 and above. Sometimes it's handy, sometimes it's way off, but it helps. So it actually gives a lot of this. And you go option click, and you can kind of get a little information, the user's current calendar, which I believe the user's current calendar, this will be, if you live in a different country or time zone or whatever, it gets proper information, returns value for one component of a date. So this will be handy. And then we're looking at hours specifically. So identifier for an hour unit. And then date, if you just initialize date like this, if I remember correctly, it just gets you the current date, like as of, 10:36 p.m. or whatever. So that should be pretty good right there. And then instead of just returning this hello world, I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and we're going to do a switch statement, and we're going to do it on the hour. So we're going to switch on hour, and look at that. Again, pretty handy, I think. That gets us, well, no, I was like, pretty handy. Look at the AI. It's so great. Yeah, let's change this a little bit. Cannot find operator. We're going to change it from, let's see, 0 to 12. This is 12 to 18, and this is what? That seems messed up. All right, Command A, Control I, get everything cleaned up there. And if we look at hour here, again, option click. Oh, hour is just going to this. Option click. It's just an integer, so we're going 0 to 12. Let's go to calendar component hour. Option click here, open in developer documentation. It's not very useful, is it? Where we got minutes, hours. So I'm assuming we're going 0 to 12, 12 to 18, and then the default is good evening. So, you know, anything past 18 is the hour here is actually representative 24 hours. I should actually probably Google this to double check, but this is what Apple suggested. And right now it's saying good evening, which would be correct. Which actually I would probably say is good night, but let's see, 18, I don't know. You tweak this around, play with it. In the morning, you'd see a good morning. And this is kind of like centered right here. If this is maybe more like a header, maybe you'd actually want to change that up a little bit by giving it a font and give it a .large title. And then it's nice and big. I mean, you could make it smaller if you wanted. You could give it a font weight of semi-bold, make it a little thicker. And again, it's still in the center here. So we could also do something like frame, and we'll go max width, and we'll give it something like .infinity. And then I will go set the alignment to leading. And that looks pretty good. It's right up against here, and I'm not sure if you'd want to do padding here, or perhaps depending on what view you're putting in, maybe you're putting it inside of a list view. It's already gonna have some indentation, and you want a little bit more controlling over that padding. You know, take that out, and its parent view will already be doing some padding for you. So something to think about on the padding. Maybe that's not something you want there, maybe it's something you do. But here you go. This is something you can throw as a header view and all that. You could even do, you could cut this and go make it a string, backtick, string interpolation here, drop in that function there, and you could say Bob, Steve, whoever. You say, good evening, Steve. Of course, you'd probably want to pull out the exclamation marks from here and stuff. But you'd also probably want this to be, another function or something you're getting elsewhere, so you don't just call everyone Steve. That'd be weird. But you can see how I think this might be handy for maybe a fitness app or a calorie, whatever app. You open up your app, and I think the Starbucks app actually has like a greeting or whatever. Anyway, now I'm just rambling. I'm going to try to cut this short. So there is a really quick view. Obviously, we just use content view, changes to greeting view, and you've got a nice little header to greet the user depending on the time of day. Let me know if this is helpful, and talk to you in the next video.